Imagine waking up and the world feels wrong. The one person who truly understood you is gone, not by their choice, but by yours. This video dives deep into that gut-wrenching moment of realization when the dust settles, and her silent regret becomes an echoing reality. If you've ever wondered about the what-ifs or the true cost of almosts, this is for you. 1. The power of silence. Silence can be more powerful than words, especially when it comes from someone who once mattered deeply. For many women, silence is not a sign of indifference or apathy. It is, in fact, a mirror reflecting their innermost thoughts and emotions. When she pulls away and stops communicating the way she used to, it isn't always because she has lost interest. More often, it's because she is processing her feelings, reflecting on the past, and slowly beginning to understand the depth of what she has lost. Think about it like this. When someone is quiet, their mind is active. She isn't distracted by superficial interactions or the noise of everyday life. Instead, she is alone with her thoughts, replaying your shared moments over and over. That text you sent that made her laugh. That time you held her hand during a difficult moment. The way you understood her without her even saying a word. These memories resurface and begin to weigh on her mind. Silence gives her the space to truly feel, without external interruptions. Psychologically, women are wired to process emotions in a layered way. While men may react quickly to feelings or attempt to move on, women often need time to reflect, analyze, and emotionally digest their experiences. When she becomes silent, it is often her brain's way of sorting through all the emotions tied to the relationship and the bond she shared with you. This is where regret quietly begins to take root. She starts noticing things she may have overlooked when the relationship was active. Your consistency, your attention to detail, your unique ability to make her feel valued. In the absence of your presence, these qualities become more pronounced. Silence can also serve as a wake-up call. Many women only truly realize what they had when it's no longer in front of them. When she notices that you are not constantly available, when she cannot hear your voice or feel your presence, the quiet gives her a moment to recognize your value. It is during this pause that the mind starts creating comparisons, how things were with you versus the emptiness she feels now. That emptiness can be painful, and it is often in these moments that the realization hits her. I may have let someone amazing slip through my fingers. Interestingly, silence also allows for emotional amplification. When she doesn't communicate with you, her mind fills the gap. She imagines what could have been, the conversations left unsaid, and the potential future you could have shared. The absence of words makes her emotions louder, more vivid, and undeniable. This psychological phenomenon explains why silence can feel heavier than any argument or confrontation. It forces introspection in a way that conversation often cannot. Furthermore, silence can be a subtle form of self-protection. By stepping back, she avoids impulsive reactions or decisions driven purely by emotion. This space allows her to truly gauge her feelings, understand what she may have lost, and confront any lingering emotions without distractions. And as she reflects, she begins to recognize patterns, her own mistakes, and the unique qualities that made you irreplaceable in her life. The truth is, when a woman becomes silent after losing someone significant, it isn't emptiness. It's a crucible of reflection. It's where regret starts to form, quietly but powerfully. She may not tell anyone, she may not even admit it to herself at first, but inside, the realization is growing stronger every day. Her silence is not a withdrawal. It is a signal, a window into a mind that is starting to understand the true impact you had, the space you occupied in her life, and the rare connection she now wishes she hadn't let go. In essence, silence is more than a pause. It is a canvas on which she paints the memories, emotions, and reflections of what you once shared. It's in this quiet that the seed of regret begins to sprout, setting the stage for the eventual moment when she finally recognizes the true value of what she lost. 2. The signs she's regretting it. When a woman begins to regret losing you, her silence alone is not the only clue. There are subtle, almost imperceptible signs that reveal her inner struggle. Small actions, moments, and behaviors that suggest she is quietly processing her emotions and beginning to feel the weight of your absence. Understanding these signs can give you insight into her emotional state without needing her to explicitly say a word. One of the first signs is discreetly checking up on you. She may look at your social media profiles, see what you're up to, or ask mutual friends casually about your life. It's not about stalking or obsessing. It's her mind trying to reconnect with the part of her life she let go of. She wants to know if you're still the same person, if you're thriving, or if she might still have a chance to regain some connection. Every like, every story, every mention of you in her environment acts as a quiet reminder of what she lost. Psychologically, curiosity combined with emotional attachment is one of the strongest indicators of regret. She isn't over you because she hasn't stopped thinking about you. Another sign is emotional memories surfacing in unexpected ways. She may bring up shared experiences in conversation, almost unconsciously. Maybe she mentions a song you both loved or a place you visited together. These memories are not coincidences. They're the mind's way of revisiting moments that were meaningful, signaling that she still values them. The fact that these memories emerge during seemingly ordinary interactions indicates that she is internally comparing the past to the present. This reflection can often lead to a quiet longing, an acknowledgement that no one else has filled the void you left behind. Subtle communication is also a clear indicator. Sometimes, after a period of silence, she may reach out with a simple text or a message that appears casual but carries emotional undertones. Perhaps it's a, "Hey, how are you?" or a comment on something she knows you care about. These messages are tests. They gauge whether a connection can still be reestablished. Psychologically, women often use these small gestures to explore their feelings safely, without fully exposing their vulnerability. When she does this, it is a sign that she is beginning to feel the absence of your presence more acutely. Even her body language and tone when she interacts with you indirectly can reveal regret. She may smile longer when she sees you, hesitate when responding, or seem unusually attentive. These microsignals, though subtle, communicate that your presence still matters deeply to her. It's a reflection of her subconscious acknowledgement that she made a mistake by letting someone as significant as you slip away. Another interesting aspect is her emotional reactions to your successes or happiness. She might display a mix of pride and subtle envy. Psychologically, this is because seeing you thrive without her triggers a sense of loss, an awareness that she missed the chance to be a part of your life in a meaningful way. This combination of admiration and regret often manifests quietly, through thoughtful glances, lingering curiosity, or indirect engagement. Finally, her regret may show itself through changes in her behavior with others. She might compare you to other people in her life, realizing that no one else can match the connection she had with you. This subconscious comparison reveals that she recognizes your unique value and the rarity of what she lost. These signs, discreet checking, emotional memory surfacing, subtle communication, body language cues, reactions to your happiness, and behavioral comparisons, are all pieces of the puzzle. They show that her mind and heart are quietly coming to terms with your absence. Regret is not always loud, and it doesn't always lead to immediate action. But when you notice these subtle indicators, it's clear. She is processing, reflecting, and starting to understand the real value of what she lost. In essence, when a woman begins to regret losing you, it often shows up in ways that are quiet, indirect, and easy to overlook. But for anyone paying close attention, these signs paint a clear picture of emotional awareness, self-reflection, and a growing recognition of your irreplaceable role in her life. 3. Why she regrets it. Regret is rarely about the superficial aspects of a relationship. It's not simply missing someone's presence or companionship. It runs much deeper. When a woman begins to regret losing you, it's because she is recognizing the unique emotional impact you had on her life, the way you made her feel, and the irreplaceable space you occupied in her heart and mind. Understanding why she regrets it requires a closer look at the psychological and emotional factors at play. One of the primary reasons she regrets losing you is because you challenged her in ways others didn't. This doesn't mean conflict or argument. It means you inspired growth. You pushed her to think deeper, to explore her emotions, and to step outside her comfort zone. Whether it was through intellectual conversations, meaningful debates, or simply your perspective on life, you helped her evolve. When she reflects in silence, she starts noticing that the people she's encountered since haven't provided the same depth or challenge. The realization that she let go of someone who stimulated her mind and spirit can be a profound source of regret. Another crucial factor is that you made her feel truly valued. In relationships, women often remember how they were treated more vividly than what was said or done. Did you notice the little things about her? Her passions, her struggles, the way she expressed herself? Did you make her feel understood without judgment? Women internalize these experiences deeply, and when they are gone, the absence becomes strikingly apparent. She begins to recognize that the emotional validation and genuine care she received from you cannot be replicated easily. This recognition triggers both reflection and regret. She also regrets losing you because she realizes the connection can't be replaced. There is a difference between companionship and true connection, and it's often only after a meaningful relationship ends that the distinction becomes clear. She may encounter others who are friendly, attractive, or entertaining, but they fail to create the same emotional resonance. Psychologically, humans crave authenticity and depth in their connections, and when she notices that no one else fills the space you occupied, regret intensifies. She starts to see that what you shared was rare, and her silence during this process is a sign that she is truly processing the magnitude of what she lost. Another subtle but powerful reason is her reflection on her own choices and patterns. Regret is often tied to self-awareness. She begins to analyze her own behavior, her decisions, and her reactions, wondering if she contributed to losing you. This self-reflection can be uncomfortable, but it also solidifies the realization that losing you was a mistake. Not because you were perfect, but because the dynamic you shared was meaningful and irreplaceable. The silence you notice is partly her mind sifting through these complex emotions, seeking understanding and slowly acknowledging her loss. Finally, the absence of you highlights what was missing in her life. Humans naturally notice gaps, and your absence creates a void she cannot ignore. Your unique energy, presence, and emotional depth are contrasted sharply against her current experiences, making the lack of that connection undeniable. She may try to fill the void, but nothing else feels quite right. The more she reflects, the more she sees that you offered something rare, something she didn't fully appreciate until you were gone. In essence, her regret is not shallow or fleeting. It is deeply rooted in emotional awareness and self-reflection. She regrets losing you because you were irreplaceable in multiple ways. You challenged her, valued her, created a connection unlike any other, and left a void that no one else can fill. Her silence during this period is not indifference. It is a sign of her mind and heart working through the realization of what she let slip away. Regret, in this sense, is a complex emotion, a mix of longing, reflection, and recognition of loss. And understanding why she feels it gives clarity. She is not just missing you superficially. She is beginning to grasp the true value of what she had, the depth of what she lost, and the reality that some connections simply cannot be replicated. The moment it hits her. There comes a specific, almost undeniable moment when a woman realizes the full weight of losing you. It's rarely dramatic, rarely loud or confrontational. Instead, it is quiet, internal, and intensely personal. This is the moment when regret transforms from a vague feeling into a vivid, undeniable awareness, a realization that the connection she had with you was unique, meaningful, and ultimately irreplaceable. Understanding this moment is crucial because it explains why her silence can feel heavier than any argument or fight. Often this moment hits her when she is alone. Maybe she's sitting quietly in her room, scrolling through memories, or passing a familiar place you both once visited. Perhaps she hears a song that reminds her of a conversation you shared, or sees a movie that evokes an inside joke only the two of you would understand. In these seemingly mundane moments, her mind begins to replay your presence vividly. The laughter, the comfort, the way you made her feel understood. Each memory comes alive. Psychologically, solitude amplifies reflection. Alone, she has no distractions, no external noise to pull her away, which allows the reality of your absence to sink in fully. Another common trigger is when she observes others around her and compares them to you. She may notice someone who has a similar smile, laugh, or attitude, only to realize that no one can truly match your presence. The things that once seemed ordinary or small, your patience, your attentiveness, your subtle gestures of care, now feel extraordinary when contrasted with the people around her. This comparison triggers an emotional response she cannot ignore, and it often leads to the painful acknowledgement, "I let someone irreplaceable slip away." Sometimes the realization hits during moments she never expects. Perhaps she's celebrating an achievement or experiencing joy, but finds that the absence of your support makes the moment feel incomplete. Or she's facing a challenge or emotional difficulty and instinctively looks for the person who once offered her stability and understanding. You. In these situations, it becomes glaringly obvious that no one else can fill the emotional role you once played. The realization is not about you being perfect, it's about the connection being unique, the bond being rare, and the emotional support being unmatched. This moment is also deeply introspective. She may start questioning her past decisions and the choices that led to losing you. Was she too distracted? Did she take you for granted? Did she fail to appreciate the depth of the connection? These questions intensify the sense of regret because she begins to understand that losing you wasn't simply a matter of circumstance. It was also a reflection of missed opportunities and unrecognized value. The silence you observe during this period is her mind working tirelessly through these thoughts, trying to reconcile the loss with her own emotions and self-awareness. Interestingly, the moment of realization often comes quietly before any outward action. She may not immediately reach out, text, or speak to you. In fact, the silence is a protective layer, giving her time to process her emotions fully. Regret is rarely impulsive. It requires reflection, understanding, and emotional processing. By the time she internalizes the depth of her loss, the impact is profound. In essence, the moment she truly regrets losing you is subtle but life-changing. It is an internal awakening, where memories, comparisons, and self-reflection converge to reveal the full weight of your absence. Silence is not a void. It is the vessel through which this realization emerges. Her mind, her heart, and her subconscious align to show her the magnitude of what she lost, the uniqueness of what you offered, and the undeniable truth that some connections simply cannot be replaced. When this moment hits, it is transformative. It is no longer just about missing you. It is about understanding on a deep emotional level that the space you occupied in her life was singular, valuable, and profoundly meaningful. And that is when true regret begins. 5. What you should know. Understanding her silence and the moment she regrets losing you is only part of the story. The next step is grasping what this truly means for you, how to interpret her actions, her absence, and the emotional signals she's sending without misreading them or overreacting. What you should know is that her regret is powerful, but it doesn't automatically guarantee she will act on it. It is an internal process, a reflection that often unfolds slowly and quietly, and your awareness of this can make a significant difference in how you respond. First and foremost, recognize that silence is a form of introspection, not a withdrawal from caring. Many men mistakenly assume that if she isn't calling or texting, she has moved on or lost interest. The truth is far more nuanced. Women often need space to process emotions fully. When she becomes quiet, she is not ignoring you to punish you. She is mentally and emotionally assessing what your absence truly means. During this time, she may replay memories, evaluate her own decisions, and measure the depth of what she lost. Understanding this can prevent misinterpretations and unnecessary frustration, because silence in this context is a sign of reflection, not rejection. Second, resist the urge to chase or force communication. When she is silent and processing regret, your attempts to initiate constant contact can inadvertently reduce the impact of her reflection. Psychological studies on attachment and relationship dynamics show that emotional space often strengthens recognition of value. By allowing her to think without pressure, you give her mind the room it needs to process her emotions authentically. The quieter she is, the more she is likely realizing the unique role you played in her life. And sometimes, absence really does make the heart grow fonder. Another crucial point is recognizing the difference between regret and action. Just because she feels it doesn't mean she will immediately reach out or attempt to rekindle the connection. Regret is an internal experience. It manifests first as emotional awareness, then reflection, and finally, if she chooses, outward action. Your focus should not be on forcing outcomes, but on observing the signals and understanding her psychology. Subtle gestures, indirect communication, or even casual check-ins from her are the natural expressions of this internal process. These should be seen as opportunities to assess the depth of her feelings, not as guarantees of a reunion. It's also essential to acknowledge that regret highlights your value, not her intentions. When a woman begins to regret losing you, it reflects her recognition of the unique qualities you brought to the relationship: your presence, your care, your emotional depth, and the connection you shared. This awareness is powerful, but it does not automatically translate into reconciliation. The lesson here is to see your own worth through the lens of her regret. The more she realizes your irreplaceable value, the more she understands what she lost. But your focus should remain on maintaining your own standards, dignity, and emotional well-being. Finally, understand that patience and self-respect are key. The psychology of regret and reflection unfolds gradually. By allowing her the space to process and by maintaining your own life, confidence, and boundaries, you create a situation where her regret can develop naturally, without forcing her or compromising your own emotional integrity. Silence, reflection, and introspection are powerful teachers, and sometimes the best way to respond is to step back, observe, and allow her mind to catch up to her heart. In essence, what you should know is this: her silence is not emptiness, her regret is not superficial, and your role is not to chase or manipulate. Instead, your role is to understand, respect, and recognize the emotional dynamics at play. By doing so, you not only see the true impact you had on her life, but you also preserve your own value, self-respect, and emotional stability. Her silence is the backdrop for her realization. Her regret is the proof of her awareness, and your understanding of this process is the key to navigating this complex, delicate emotional landscape. The moment she truly understands what she lost is powerful, but it gains meaning only if you recognize it for what it is: reflection, awareness, and an undeniable acknowledgement of your irreplaceable value. So when you notice her silence, remember this: it is never empty. It is a reflection of her mind, her heart, and the realization of what she truly lost. Every quiet moment, every pause in communication, and every subtle check-in is a sign that she is processing the depth of your value and the uniqueness of the connection you shared. Regret doesn't always come with words. It doesn't always come with grand gestures. Often, it comes quietly, slowly, and profoundly. She may not admit it, she may not act on it immediately, but inside, she is feeling the absence of something she now realizes cannot be replaced. That absence is a powerful teacher, and her reflection is the proof of her awareness. For you, this is a moment of clarity. It's a reminder of your own worth, your emotional depth, and the irreplaceable impact you have on the people who matter in your life. The silence you encounter is not a void. It's a space where understanding, self-reflection, and emotional realization are taking place. So let her have that space, let her process her thoughts, and let her realize, in her own time, the magnitude of what she lost. Because when a woman truly regrets letting someone like you go, that moment is profound, undeniable, and unforgettable. Remember this: her silence speaks volumes. Her regret is real, and the person she let slip away was you.